Howdy there, viewer. Recently, I've run into a bit of a conundrum. You see, dear viewer, I've always touted myself as a bit of a master gamer, a real gamer god, if you will. I used to absolutely dominate back in my Dark Souls remastered PvP days. But as of late, I've been revisiting some of From Software's older titles, playing them live on stream here on this very channel. I'm gonna
take care of and love myself.
Well, that's it for the stream, folks.
one more chance.
Glad you all could join. It's been a pleasure.
It was during this playthrough that a certain thought crept itself into my mind. Could it be that I'm actually a bad gamer? Of course not. I can't stand for this. I cannot allow my reputation to be tarnished. I want to be taken seriously as a professional. And for that to be the case, I need to prove that I haven't lost my touch. My honor as a man, no, as a gamer, won't allow it. And what better way to stroke my ego than by completing a challenge run? Those seem to be all the rage these days. Seeing as this whole crisis started due to my Dark Souls playthrough, I think it'd be fitting to choose a Souls-like for this challenge. But what game to choose? Mayhaps we should go with the most mechanically complex and overall best game in the series, Dark Souls 2. Or maybe give it a try with the fan favorite title, Midborn. We don't even have to choose a FromSoft title. I hear that new Silksong game is quite the ball buster. No, I'm afraid none of those will do. Anyone can beat a difficult game, but this challenge is about more than just a simple test of skill. The ultimate gamer not only possesses the proper abilities, but also has the proper mind and discipline for the task. It is for this reason that I have chosen Black Souls as the game for this challenge. Developed by John Blacksoul using RPG Maker Fest for the Nintendo 3DS, Black Souls is a Grimian turn-based Souls-like eroge heavily inspired by the works of Lewis Carroll and the Brothers Grimm. It uses its fairy tale theme to tell a gripping and emotional cycle-pilled narrative. But if you want a simpler answer, you can just think of it as the Dark Souls of gooning. Pretty much every character in this game is a woman, and all of them are all too eager to suckle your soapstone. It is exactly for this reason that we'll be ignoring all these vixens and seeing if we can reach the end credits of the game without ever kindling our flame. A challenge no Black Souls fan has ever dared to conquer. Now for this challenge, it's important we set up a couple of ground rules. Number 1, we must have all H scenes enabled. If we were to just disable them and call it a day, that wouldn't be much of a challenge, now would it? Number 2, we'll be playing on difficulty 9 from beginning to end. That way, we can truly emulate the pain of what it must feel like to be a sensitive young man in a world full of perverted women. And finally, third, we must play with 2 hands at all times. This might be the hardest rule of them all. With all that nonsense out of the way, let's boot up the game and get this challenge underway. We start things off in Alice's library. I assign myself a pretty fitting name. Choose Thief as my starting class for the extra speed. As we'll soon come to see, speed is going to be very important this playthrough. Once we get character creation over with, we awake in a jail cell. We are an undead trapped here, before a knight breaks in and tosses us a key to get out. What an original opening to a game. This knight is none other than 14th century warrior Joan of Arc. As mentioned before, Black Souls takes a lot of characters and elements from fairy tales and fables, and here we can see it borrowing from the mythical land of France. Jane explains to us that this land has been cursed by the fog. The fog that turns people into mindless demon beasts is indeed coming, and it's up to us to stop it. But first, we gotta get out of this place. Thankfully, Jane offers us her protection, which admittedly isn't worth all that much, seeing as she gets burned to death only a couple of minutes thereafter. How ironic. After losing the scripted fight, we awaken at the Holy Forest, where we soon get ambushed by the first harlot of our run, Leaf. She gives us this awful advice about violating women, having sex with a girl? Sorry, Leaf, but this saber is staying sheathed till marriage. After that temptation is dealt with, we head over to the statue and make sure to set our difficulty level to 9. Before we get going, we gotta consider the route of our run. Black Souls has a total of 4 main endings you can get. Endings A, C, and D all require us to copulate at least once to be able to achieve them. So for that reason, we'll be going after ending B. be. All this ending requires is that I kill all 4 princesses, reach the gate, kill Cinderella, and stop the fog from spreading. Right now, I'm way too weak to fight any major bosses. I mean, even basic enemies kill me in one hit. Or more accurately put, they kill me before I can even get a single turn in. This, dear viewer, is why speed is so important. Our first order of business will be to explore the map, avoiding as many enemies as possible to collect all the gear we need to increase our speed. We already have the best weapon for speed increase with our starting class, the Thief's Dagger. Now we just have to gather the Wind God's Ring and the White Crow Ring. I decide to head for the old burg to pick up the White Crow Ring first, making sure to collect any souls and ores I can find along the way. I also start a few quest lines with Dorothy, Elma, Hansel, and Gretel. I then go over to Elixir Town, dodge some more enemies, and pick up the second ring. I also make sure to head to the smithy to use those ores we gathered to upgrade my dagger to +4 for some extra speed. Using the souls I picked up across the map, and by grinding some easier enemies in some of the starting areas, I managed to reach level 25. Taking a look at our kit now, we should be ready to take on some bosses. I made sure to clear out a path to the Frog Princess while looking for the rings, but we're still way too weak to take any of them on. So I decide to head on to Behemoth Ranch and take out the big bad wolf instead. On my way there, I use a master key to free up Goose from her imprisonment, who decides to join my party as thanks. I should probably mention that you're able to recruit various companions to summon in combat to stand by you in battle, all of them of course being attractive women. A lot of the game's endings are even tied to these heroines. Unfortunately, all of these are useless to us, as in order to level them up, we'd have to share our souls with them, which involves a very intimate process. So we're gonna have to go solo this run. Regardless, I'll still try to recruit as many as possible, because I'm just such a nice guy. Back to the wolf, this fight shows us the primary issue we'll be facing this run. Despite all the effort I've put into increasing my speed, I'm still only able to get one action in before it's his turn and he's able to act 2 to 3 times. Thankfully, he only does physical attacks, so I can reliably use my turn to parry to avoid taking any damage while dealing a good amount of damage to him back. He does have a chance to stun you, and if that does happen, it's game over for us, but after a few attempts, we manage to take him down no problem. With this victory under our belt, we unlock entry into the Iron Mines. The Den of Bugs contains a ton of ore we can use to further upgrade our weapon. As well as a boss, we are nowhere near strong enough to beat, Behemoth. We simply don't deal enough damage with our current gear to put up much of a fight, and even if we do manage to whittle him down, he unleashes an undodgeable attack at the start of his second phase, which just straight up kills us instantly, so we'll have to take a new route for now. We head back to the Holy Forest, make sure to say hi to the newly arrived Elizabeth. She'll be super useful later on. I then go around killing a couple of the weaker bosses we weren't able to kill before, so I can gather some more souls to level up. I attempt to fight the pervert trying to molest Hansel and Gretel, but it doesn't go so well. We do, however, get to hear a gem of wisdom from Leaf. Heading back to the ranch, we instead go south this time, going through the desert, picking up some more souls and ores until we reach Snow White's castle. On the left side of the castle, we manage to pick up an ore slab, finally allowing us to upgrade our Thief's Dagger all the way to +10, unlocking its ultimate skill, Shadow Meld. With this skill, we can dodge magic attacks, parry physical attacks, and buff our agility all in just one turn. So long as we can get the first turn in a fight, we're pretty much guaranteed to win against most enemies, as long as they don't stun us or have any unavoidable attacks. With our new weapon in hand, we go back to the Rodenburg and head into the mansion in order to fight the Iron King. He's seemingly invincible at first, but after summoning Leaf, she Mesugaki mocks him so hard his defense drops completely, allowing us to pretty easily take him down by spamming Shadow Meld. This guy seems to have been quite the beast in the sheets, judging by the mangled states of all these bodies. In fact, locked behind this door, we meet what would have been another victim, were it not for us freeing her.
Oh, I wouldn't say free. More like under new management.
I kid, of course. We have no interest in engaging in such uncouth behavior after all. Unfortunately for Victoria over here, our seed is exactly what she needs. You see, unless we allow Victoria to give us a little bit of head so she can get a little bit of our souls, she will literally die. Well, rip bozo, I guess. Sucks to be you. Going past the mansion, we make it up to... No way, it's the place from the start of the game! Look, it's even the dragon that killed us at the start! So many memories. This is actually where you reach the gate to the Lost Empire. But right as we're about to enter, Princess Belle, one of Cinderella's lackeys, shows up and starts saying some pretty racially charged remarks before summoning her goons to take us out. Unfortunately for us, we aren't making it past these goons. Although all of their attacks are physical, as you can clearly see, most of these guys are archers, and you're unable to parry ranged attacks. So although I am able to avoid taking any damage, I don't really have a way to deal any either, seeing as my speed only lets me get one turn in before they turn me into a pincushion. So we'll have to think of another way to approach this. I decide to head back and come up with a new strategy. I kill some more bosses and manage to complete Dorothy's quest line. I am, however, unable to cash in the reward, as doing so would instantly trigger a foot job I did not consent to. Not that I would ever be into something so lewd, of course. I head to the brothel, not to purchase any services, but to silently stare and judge the wenches on offer. It was during this moment of meditation that I had an epiphany. If I could find some way to proc poison on the knights, then I'd be able to spend the entire time dodging while they slowly die from damage over time. Unfortunately, my choices for poison damage were a little slim. I could get the Frog Princess's favor, which would make it so my weapon attacks have a chance to inflict poison. But unfortunately for me, that would require that I relinquish my saber to hit that Frogussie. So that's a no-go. We could also use dung pies, but that only hits one person at a time, not that effective. Instead, I ventured deep into the skeleton maze to meet an old foe of mine. Thankfully, avoiding wheel skeletons is way easier in this game. Game over. Game. No!
I like that you were in the middle of making like a bad bit and then you went, what?
I find the shaman and buy the poison spell, which allows me to poison all enemies at once. Jackpot. We go back for another attempt, and after a very long fight, we prevail. Another win for virginity. With this, we've made it up to the gate. The doors, however, won't open until we've either slept with or killed 4 princesses. Seeing as we're now sitting at a comfortable level 58, I think it's about time we get ready to kill some broads. First, we head back to the Holy Forest and make sure to say hi to Catherine, a devout lady of the flame. Glad to see there's another chastity maxer out there. After paying our respects, we go back to Elma's shop to kill her demon beast transformed mother. Now, I don't really have to do this, but I want to because Elma is best girl, and I don't want her to die. After this, she'll come back to the Holy Forest, where much like Dorothy, we're unable to receive our reward, as doing so will trigger this mischievous brat to unsheath our blade by force. As enticing as Elma's petite lolly frame is, I simply must resist for the greater good of mankind. We've now unlocked the boat, which allows us to explore past the river. Here, a dangerous enemy awaits us, but I don't really want to fight it right now, so I just used this invisibility spell I found earlier and just straight up avoid it. We reach a little island where we find Red Hood's house, a disgusting white woman who gets freaky with her dog. She's an ultimately meaningless character that has very little to do with the narrative of this franchise. So going forward, I will be completely ignoring her. What we're really here for is this. That's right, here we find the funny bird from Dark Souls, and much like in Dark Souls, we're able to trade. The candy we've been collecting this whole game isn't just useful for luring kids into minivans. We can also use it to get some pretty excellent gear. There's specifically 3 trades we're after: the Devil's Edge, the Broken Shackle Ring, and the Darkwood Grain Ring. We're a bit short on candy at the moment, so after grinding some enemies, we come back and buy what we want. We make sure to go to the smithy to get our new katana all the way to plus 10. The Devil's Edge is equipped with 2 high damage skills that allow us to attack all enemies at once while restoring our HP. We also gain access to the best self-buffing skill in the game, which increases all 3 of our primary stats for 3 turns. Though the trade-off is we do lose out on Shadow Meld, and by proxy our primary technique for avoiding all damage. That, dear viewer, is where the Darkwood Grain Ring comes into play, as it grants us the acrobatic skill, which works as an evasion for both physical and magic attacks, lasting 3 turns. So using this skill frees us up to spend the next couple of turns attacking, instead of relying solely on parries and poison damage. And the Broken Shackle Ring doubles our attack in exchange for reducing our accuracy by 20%. Not too bad. With this new loadout, I head over to Snow White, and after a quick fight, managed to kill our first of 4 princesses. While I'm here, I also make sure to pick up the invitation to Atlantis and head down to Wonderland to unlock Alice's library. This place is pretty important if you're trying to get some of the other endings, but seeing as we're just going for the normal one, doesn't really matter for us. You can still talk to Alice, but I don't really like Alice, so I'm not going to do that. We head back to the skeleton maze, kill a cool reference to the best game ever made, and using that invitation from before, open the way to Atlantis. Here, we can go visit the Love Hotel. This is where you can see the bang cutscene of any heroine you've reached level 100 with. Truly a most sinful establishment. The owner must be swiftly given the death penalty. Further to the south, we can also find the next princess on our hit list, the Little Mermaid. Well, more like the Big Mermaid if you're seeing what I'm seeing. She actually manages to put up a bit of a fight. That is, until I realize she's weak to lightning. So after applying some gold pine resin to my katana, she goes down in just a few hits. 50% of the way there, let's go. I go back to the brothel and kill the prostitute in her demon beast form. This nets me the Harlot's Ring, which grants a 10% chance to gain an additional turn. Not the most reliable thing out there, but it can still be useful in a pinch. I also kill some more bosses to get some more souls to level up. I managed to complete Catherine's questline, but I'm unable to recruit her, as doing so would require me to revive Jane, whose ashes are being guarded by a kraken who unleashes unavoidable attacks, our greatest weakness. And even if I could beat the guy, the ritual needed to revive Jane requires she absorb some of my nectar. So I'm afraid you'll be staying in this cathedral, Catherine, and you'll be staying in this urn, Jean. I go back to the iconic Souls-like Poison Swamp area to finally face off against the Frog Princess. This fight is a real challenge. She has these 2 goons with her, and they constantly buff themselves, making it so they're way quicker than me. Sometimes, they manage to get a turn or 2 in before I can even react. So a lot of this fight is just hoping I get lucky and they don't attack before I've been able to evade. Even past that, they're so fast that I gotta waste turns buffing myself to even keep up, so I'm only left with 1 turn to actually deal damage. But my poor accuracy, combined with their high evasion, makes it so oftentimes I end up missing most of my attacks. I can't even rely on poison damage here, since obviously these guys are resistant. Eventually, after consulting the tomes, I figure out that they're weak to ice damage. The problem is the cold pine resin only lasts 3 turns, so I barely get a chance to even use it. This fight really just comes down to hoping I manage to squeeze an extra turn in thanks to the Harlot's Ring so I can apply the resin. After many failed attempts, we managed to get rid of the goons once and for all, and dealing with the princess thereafter isn't much trouble. Finally, man, I hate frog girls. All that's left now is to take out Rapunzel. Unfortunately for us, that means going back to the mines, finding a way to deal with that unavoidable attack. Despite reaching level 150, Behemoth is still able to one-shot us with that attack. I try buffing my defense and even applying a pre-revive spell to myself, but I'm simply unable to tank it. If we can't tank it though, we'll just have to make sure it never happens. Behemoth only uses the attack when his health bar reaches 50% on his next turn, and we actually managed to deal really good damage to him. So if we're able to outspeed him and make sure to kill him before he has a chance to use the attack, we're golden. I'm able to pretty reliably get about 2 turns in before one of his turns, so as long as I make sure to space out my attacks so we get him as close to 50 as possible before the start of my turn cycle, I should be able to pull this off. This does of course also require a bit of luck, as I need the Harlot Ring to trigger for an extra turn, but it doesn't take too much waiting before I manage to take him out, clearing up the way into Gothel Tower. We meet this guardsman who's absolutely fiending for a hair job from Rapunzel. What a degenerate. You should feel ashamed of yourself. The tower itself isn't too hard, mostly annoying since the enemies here see right through my invisibility. We fight a few bosses along the way and clear up a route to go face off against Rapunzel. Honestly, may have been a bit hard on the guardsman. Totally see where he was coming from. Major Oji-sama vibes coming from this one. Bratty lolly dictator in need of some major correction. Or better yet, correct me. But no, now's not the time for that. We mustn't lose sight of the goal, especially when we're so close to the finish line. Prepare to meet your maker. This fight broke me. Mind broke me. I truly was corrected. I kid you not. I spent countless hours facing off against this brat alone. She doesn't even have any unavoidable attacks or anything like that, but she relies on our old strategy. She spams Shadow Meld. She's also just naturally way faster than we are, so she outturns us. Even despite of all of that, we still manage to sneak in a good couple of shots here and there and whittle her down to half of her health. But this is when the real problem starts to show its ugly head. No matter how much damage we do, she'll start spamming healing spells over and over, undoing all of our hard work. That, combined with her absurd speed, makes it so we'll never have a chance to win this fight. She does have a weakness, but it's wind, and there aren't any items that apply wind damage to my weapon. Fortunately for us, there is a weapon which deals unavoidable wind damage, and we can find it in this very dungeon. We can buy the Storm Ruler from the merchant here. Much like the dragon weapons in Dark Souls, this weapon is awful and has atrocious scaling, but it does deal a lot of wind damage, which may be exactly what we need for this fight. So after upgrading it to plus 10, we go in for another attempt. Using wind attacks, we do deal way more damage than we did before, but it's still nowhere near enough to counteract her healing. It was at this point that I was at a bit of a loss. Am I a bad gamer? Were all those comments about my lack of skill actually the truth? I fell into a deep state of despair and started coping through the abuse of addictive substances. I gazed upon my physical disc copy of the Dark Souls 2 soundtrack and realized, no, I cannot allow it to end like this, not just for my sake, but for every gamer, hard R, out there. I mustn't give up. I'll just have to do things a little differently. If none of my weapons were working, then I'd just have to switch over to the strongest blade of them all, the mind. The arcane arts. The most powerful spells in the game are locked behind completing Dorothy's questline, which we are unfortunately able to do for reasons I already explained before. Instead, we'll just have to make do with the best spell we can get our hands on, Soul Discharge, which shoots 4 back-to-back soul arrows at the enemies. Now, in order to effectively cast spells, I'm gonna need a catalyst. The best one in the game is the Demon Catalyst. Now, if I want to get it, I'm gonna have to go and face off against that unbeatable Kraken. All of his attacks are unavoidable, but thankfully, by buffing our defense and speed, we're able to tank the damage so long as we heal ourselves back up before his next turn, which thanks to Demon Edge, isn't much of an issue. A few attempts later, we manage to take him out, clearing a path to the Forest of Sabbath. Here, we find the Nameless Demon, the boss guarding the catalyst we need. Now this guy is a beast. With a ton of health, defense, and agility, we're only able to get one turn in. He mainly fights using magic attacks, so we cast Reflect Magic to try to get him to deal some damage to himself while still evading his physical ones. We also proc Poison to slowly whittle down his health. Once his health gets low enough, he has a chance to use a Roar attack, which again is unavoidable damage and kills us in one hit. Fortunately for us, unlike with Behemoth though, this attack seems to be random, so once we have him at low health, it's best we just go full in on the aggressive and kill him as soon as possible. He is weak to lightning damage, so I just rush at him, hoping the Heartlet Ring blesses me with a free turn for an extra attack. After a ton of really close attempts, we finally manage to beat him and grab our catalyst. We fully upgrade this bad boy, swap out our attack ring for a magic ring, and head back to Rapunzel for a rematch. After all the hard work we've put in, the countless failed attempts, the hours lost, the enemies slayed, the goons denied, the only thing standing between us and the gate to the Lost Empire is this wench.
I want to say something. I'm a lover, and that's why I'm a fighter. And I love my family, and I love justice so much, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to stop you. And I hate your stinking guts. I can smell you from 1,000 miles away, and you smell like failure. You smell like hell. And I want to thank the God of the universe that I'm not with these people. I get tears in my eyes to God, but I'm thankful every day that I don't come from filth like you that want to trample on humanity. Thank God I'm not a degenerate, filthy vampire like you. And I guess in the final equation, as upset as I get watching you hurt the innocent, that's what matters, is that you'll never defeat the human spirit. You'll never defeat God. You'll never win. Never, ever, never. The spirit of humanity is rising, and it is going to defeat you. You think you're strong, you think you're scary, you try to mimic what you can only imagine in your mind is God's wrath, and God's wrath coming for you. And you deserve everything that happens to you, trash. I want you to know something, Hillary Clinton.
First try. This staff is actually pretty OP. This is going to be our new weapon going forward. Now that we've killed all 4 princesses, the gate has opened up. But before we head over there, I go around and kill a couple more bosses just to get some more souls to level up before entering the final area. I managed to reach level 225. I think we're as ready as we'll ever be. Right outside the gate, Leaf talks about how much she loves us and how she'll always stay by our side. She then hands us her favor, a ring which doubles our speed, no intercourse required. How kind of you, Leaf. Truly a lady, pure of mind and heart, a shining beacon of morality in this sinful, desolate world. I knew I could always count on you. We head into the castle, and once again, come face to face with Belle. No goons this time around, just her and the beast. This fight is super easy. They don't stand a chance at all. After the battle, Belle begs us for mercy. We're given a difficult moral decision. Unfortunately for you, Belle, the lion does not listen to the petition of the small dog. We continue our trek further into the castle. We fight a big pumpkin and go through a teleportation maze. There's probably a really clever puzzle to be solved here, but I just brute forced my way through it until it worked. Then, at last, we make it. The stairs leading to the throne room. The final boss, Cinderella, awaits us behind this fog wall. My goon counter, 0. My pants, as dry as they could be. After this fight, we'll be able to claim that you can indeed beat Black Souls without ever having to lay hands on the meat musket. But we only have one shot at this, for this fight is unique in that if we lose, Cinderella will pin us down to the ground and take her chastity from us by force, turning us into her snuggle buddy for the rest of our days. Wait a second, why am I doing this challenge again? We take out her royal guards, and then finally, the time comes to face off against her. Well, that was pretty easy. With Cinderella now defeated, we touch the fog, bring peace to the land, and as the credits roll, we have successfully beaten the run. So to answer the question proposed at the start of the video, yes, you can beat Black Souls while remaining celibate. I hope you enjoyed going on this journey with me. If you're unfamiliar with Black Souls and are interested in playing it, I highly recommend it. Much like a Dark Souls game, hides a good majority of its story behind reading the item description for Guinevere's breast milk. The entirety of Black Soul's story is explained in the sex scenes. This is early RPG Maker slop in its purest form, but it's soulful slop, like a warm plate of authentic Latinx cuisine served out of a food truck. Besides, it's way better than Bloodborne at the very least. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button. We're actually only 1K subscribers away from overtaking Liberal Smosh, so if we could reach that goal before the end of the year, that'd be really cool. Follow me on Zitter to see me post racially insensitive remarks and anime girl feed, or join my Discord to get put on a government watch list. Thank you for your time and have a good day.